Hey guys, welcome back to the Full Shop Challenge here on the Hobo's Hollow 4X map. As you can see, we are baling the straw from the wheat harvest. I had a little time lapse there just to finish up the harvest from last episode. If you didn't see that, be sure to check that out. There will be a link in the description, but yeah, we're just getting this done real quick. We got all that wheat in the grain mill. I think there was about 140,000 liters all said and done. Obviously it's going down as we're producing flour, but we're looking at about 138,000 liters of wheat left, which would translate to about $150,000 to $180,000 if we sold it all. But we're going to produce flour with it and then take that flour to our bakery, which we also bought, and use it to produce bread. And hopefully we should make 250,000 plus from the same amount of wheat that would have gotten us 150,000. So we're just making money off of our productions here. But we've been working on the baling. You can see we got a fair amount. Looks like the bale counter is at 32 bales, so 32 bales times 11,000 liters. That's quite a bit of straw. Doesn't sell very high, but it'll sell some. And as you can see up ahead, we got our cornfield. That'll be what we're working towards this episode. We'll be harvesting that. And hopefully we'll be reseeding this field here with some soybeans maybe, so that should be good. Gonna have to look into something to take care of these bales, because right now all I got's a front loader and I don't even have a wagon. So let's see what a bale loader would cost. 50 grand to lease it would be $2,500. That's doable for sure. But I'm not sure when the correct selling price of straw is, so let's have a look at that. January. So if I'd lease it, it'd be about $2,500 a month. It's June. That's 6 or 7 months away is January, so I'd be paying about 20 grand probably to lease that bale loader. That's doable, for sure. That might be what we're doing. We'll get the bales off the field. I'm not sure where I'll put them. Probably somewhere on our farm. Maybe we'll just put them on the other field, the small field up there. We're on field 1 right now. We got fields 2, 3, and 4 as well. The corn is on 2 and 3. We had canola on 4, but we may be storing our bales there if we need to, so we'll just have to cover that when we get there, I guess. Anyways, I'll keep cracking on this straw baling. I'm not going to make you guys watch the whole thing, but we'll keep going. And there we pretty much got her done. Just got this tiny little bit here left. There's not much straw there, but yeah, you can see there's quite a bit of bales out on the field, and those are all the biggest bales we can make, 180 centimeter diameter. And we made 53 of them, so that's a pretty good haul. Let's take the baler back to the farm. We also got to get the combine back there, just get things taken care of. And I don't remember if we do have a corn header or not. Doesn't look like we do, so we're going to have to buy one of those. Might have to take out a loan, because I can't afford it right now. There's that cornfield we're going to need the header for. You can see it's starting to get the tassels on the top. It'll take a few more months to get going. But once it does, we'll be harvesting that, and that'll go right to money. We're not, there's no producing anything with that. It just goes, it's a straight paycheck, straight cash. I think a good balance is necessary to make good money, because if you sell everything all up front, you've made your money, but then through the rest of the year, when you're not selling anything, you don't have any money there. Whereas if you make products with every single thing you harvest, it takes a while to make your money, but when you do, you make a lot more of it. So having that spread, getting good money up front, and then waiting a while and getting good money from your produce later on. Plus, if you invest in some other opportunities like greenhouses and animals, those products sell at different times too, so you're going to be making good money at different times of the year all the way around. It's just the most ideal situation to be in. Let's see here, that's where the harvester lives. Let's just park the baler right here with the fertilizer spreader, I think. Be as good a spot as any. Right like that. Very good. Oops, I just picked it up again. Alright. Now let's get our sprayer hooked back up. I am going to drop the weight off though. Just go ahead and drop that right there. And we'll get this Hardy sprayer hooked up. And his buddy tank in the front. Let's get the harvester back too. It's doing pretty well. It's plenty big, although that field is pushing it a little bit. If I were to upgrade the fields to get bigger fields, like 5 and 6, these 3 up here are pretty good size compared to the number 1 there. There's some pretty solid fields in this map. I'm not using this harvester forever. Obviously, if you don't know, the goal of this series is to own every single thing in the shop here. Every single harvester at some point. I'll have it, and it'll be on the farm, and we'll be using it. If we're not using it, all the equipment and stuff will live in a museum that we're going to build. Just big old sheds lined up with a bunch of machinery in there so we can keep track of what we've got and what we don't. But yeah, if I do upgrade the fields, I'm going to be wanting a harvester upgrade, or at least a second harvester pretty quickly after that. So, but for the time being, it's plenty. Alright, we're going to have to look and see how much room the greenhouses have and how much water they've got, because if they're looking to be full, we're going to have to see where's the best spot to put this thing. If the greenhouses are full, we're going to have to move the pallets with our forklift so we can get more to spawn in, or if she's out of water, we're going to have to get some water for it too. But let's just get this thing over, parked in the shed for a few months until corn harvest. I do want to look and see when that's going to be. Let's just have a gander here. Looks like corn will be ready to harvest towards that September, October, that time there. So the time being, we can plant soybeans, cotton, sorghum, I'm not sure what I want. Sorghum would be good to get our... Yeah, we could plant some sorghum and harvest it about October, November, and then we can still plant some barley or canola in there, so that'd be really good. Let's have a look at the greenhouses here. We're getting pretty full on... Oh! I don't know what that was about. We're doing pretty good on storage space. We're doing pretty good on water. We can wait a couple of months. Now I do want to visit the bakery here. Whoa, I spawned inside of my trailer there. That's not good. What in the world? I'm stuck inside of my trailer. That is less than ideal. I need to check and see how much bread pallets we've got spawned in. Yeah, that's full. How much extra bread do we have? Oh, we're gonna have to get up there pretty quick and get that sorted out. Alright, I'm gonna do the long and boring trek out there. This thing maxes out at 14 miles an hour, so I'll see you guys at the shop, or the bakery. We've arrived at the bakery. I'm just gonna get these pallets out of the way real quick. Nothing special. I'm not gonna load them up in a trailer or anything. We don't have time for that. Nor do I have space. I didn't really think about it when I put the trailer here. It's not in a good spot to load it. But yeah, we'll just push these boys out of the way. And now I gotta go all the way around to get the next ones, because I want to push them this way. That way I can set the trailer right in this opening here and load them up with that stuff there, because this is a tight position right here, so I won't be able to load them up there. This is not set up the best, unfortunately. Not the most realistic. Obviously, you wouldn't be leaving open pallets of bread outside. You'd load them up in a trailer as fast as you can. They wouldn't even sit out here. They'd just be made in the bakery. You open the garage door, load them right into your van, and take off to sell them at market or whatever. But this is Farming Simulator. It's not completely perfect. So we're gonna get to sleep in here. Not that it takes much effort. And then yeah, it's about 7 p.m. right now. Too late to get a situation figured out for our bales, but tomorrow morning we can work on that for sure. Looks like rain tonight. Well, it's the next month and I got a decision to make. First of all, you know, we're gonna have to get those bales off the field, so let's see if anything popped in the sale. Doesn't look like it. Let's rent something real quick. And hop in the Fent to go and get that. The decision that's got to be made is what to plant. I got this big old field that we just harvested wheat from, and we're going to be needing to put something else on it as quick as we can. We got two options, two real options as I see it now. We got soybeans, which don't yield the best, but pay pretty well. That would be cash in hand. That wouldn't be any productions or anything. Nothing fancy. I just store it in my grain silo, my grain bin, and then sell it when the time's right. The second option is sorghum, which is the complete opposite of soybeans. It yields really high, but it's not cash in hand right away. It would get taken to the grain mill. It would get processed into flour, and then the flour gets taken to the bakery, and that gets processed into bread, and then it finally gets sold later on. Here you can see soybeans and sorghum. Both are ready to harvest September to November, but since we're planting it in the last month it's available to be planted, it's most likely going to be ready to harvest in the last month. So we're looking at a November harvest. Hopefully it doesn't snow and ruin the crop. With a November harvest, the soybeans, I think they'd be ready to sell in June, so June or July. So we don't necessarily want to be doing that. That's a long ways off, whereas the sorghum would be ready to sell potentially right away in December, January, or maybe like March or something. Now, I'm going to be selling my bread in January, and I should hopefully have about $200,000 of that. I'm not sure, that's just my hope. So, yeah, we're going to have to think about that a little bit. I'll probably just go with whatever I want to right away. I think sorghum would make the more money in the long run, for sure. I would hope, because otherwise making bread wouldn't be worth it. But the soybeans, there's no dilly-dallying. You just sell it and get big money right away. Man, that's a tough decision. But before we make that decision, we're going to get these bales off the field and just move them to somewhere else on the farm. I have no idea where I'm going to put these bales. But before I figure that out, I got to get them off the field, so that's what we're doing now. I love the way a field looks after harvest with all the bales just lined up. It looks pretty sweet. Because, last month this field had a healthy crop, standing tall, and now it's completely gone and there's just these rolled up bundles of straw. It's a pretty cool transition. Now, this isn't the most exciting thing to watch. It's a lot of starting, stopping, waiting, and this little arm on the side just going up and down and up and down. But we should make, I don't know, what's the stock check say we're going to make from this? $72,000 just from this straw. That is really good money. Wow, I didn't know it'd be that high. So we'll make almost 100 grand from these straw bales. That's why we do it. It pays to do it. It only took me like an extra hour of work. And I had to buy a baler. But in that hour of work, I made $72,000. I challenge you to find a better job in real life than that. 72 grand an hour. That's like a good salary. 72,000. Wow. But that's farming, There's high payouts, but there's also high running costs. So you hope to break even. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Sometimes there's a perfect storm and you make tons of money in a year, and sometimes the prices are bad or the yield's bad for a few years in a row and you're losing money for several years in a row. That doesn't bode well. Benefits of this is it's just a game. There's no penalty if I have a few bad years. Alright, we just need 3 more bales and then we'll be taking these somewhere to store them up. Okay, where are we putting these things? I mean, right in between these fields would work just fine. Why don't we just put it here? This won't be in the way for harvest or planting this field. There's a nice good buffer zone. There, we've got all the bales. Go ahead and get this thing folded up. I'm just going to leave it out here, honestly. Once we get it folded back up, we'll just leave it here. It's not that big of a deal. Now, I still don't know what I want to do. I think I'm going to do sorghum. It's just more of an interesting crop. It's one of the new ones for FS22. Whereas soybeans have been around in the game for quite a while, so yep, we'll do sorghum. It'll probably make more money in the long run than soybeans would have, but you never know unless you do it. Maybe later on down the road we can plant some soybeans in the field and see how much that would have paid instead, but for the time being we're plenty good with sorghum, and I'll plant it here too. Last harvest we did try and put some canola there, but the field's so small, the canola's only going to pay like $10,000 to $12,000, so I don't think that's necessarily worth it. A whole trip to the market just to sell it for $10,000. Whereas I could just plant sorghum there and get a whole extra $10,000 to $12,000 of sorghum and just stack that right on top. So, sorghum it is. There is a bag of seed back there. I think I'm going to snag that real quick. There we go. Filled up a tiny bit. Probably wasn't worth it. It looked pretty full, but I guess it wasn't. Oh, shoot. I guess I should slow down. We're doing this field first. Alright. Fire it up and drop her down. We're seeding again. And I think this will count as double cropping, because we just harvested. We're planting another crop that'll be harvested just in time to plant the next year's crop. Let's see if I can explain that a little better with a crop calendar pulled up. We planted wheat. We harvested wheat in June. Before the next planting season for wheat. We're not planting wheat, but before the next season comes, we'll already have a whole crop planted and harvested. So yeah, we are double cropping, which is good. Good to know. If you're doing 2 crop cycles in a year, you're making twice as much money. So we're definitely going to be double cropping as much as we can. Eventually, I'm sure we'll get to where it's just too much to plant 2 crop cycles a year, so we'll switch to different crops that don't double crop. But as quick as this is to plant, it's even faster to harvest, so just keep that in mind. That's how fast this thing went. Doesn't make much sense to put a different crop and, only harvest that for the year. Doesn't make sense at all. Well, unfortunately, we did just run out of fertilizer for the cedars, so we're gonna have to go get that refilled. But as you can see, we've been working pretty good on the field. Just have a look at what it looks like from the top down. Well over halfway done, probably past even 2/3 yet, so that's good. We did plant a little bit without the fertilizer, so we'll have to come back and get that fertilized. I don't have any physical pallets spawned, but I can just empty out the planter and the fertilizer spreader to get the fertilizer and the seeds that I need. So, right, let's just park that there. We're gonna have to move the baler out of the way, aren't we? Oops. Now I wish there was a way to just dump one pallet out. You gotta completely unload the whole thing, so, and you can't really control where it goes either. I don't know if it'll be on the left or the right or how far out it'll be. Sweet, came out on both sides. Fill this up with one of the pallets and then put the other two in the cedar. Very good. Hopefully I've left myself enough room to get this planter emptied out. And if I'm lucky, the pallets will spawn in the same spot. But I'm going to guess I'm not lucky. That's not terrible. Now let's get the cedar and fill it up with the stuff we just dumped out. One more and we'll be off back into the field. Well, we've been getting along pretty good now. We just got a couple of passes left to do on the field, and that's actually where we're going to wrap things up today. So, yeah, next episode is when we'll probably spray off the weeds on these fields that we planted and move into the corn harvest. Maybe sell the canola we harvested and the straw bales too. Yeah, that'll be a good episode. As for this one, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to leave a like. That'll help boost the video. and yeah, help other people to see it, and hopefully they like it as much as you do. If you've got any suggestions for which crops to do next or which tractor to buy, whatever you want, feel free to leave a comment down below. I do enjoy seeing those, and yeah, more than willing to help you guys make decisions, or have you guys help me make decisions on what to do here on the farm. If you like the content I've been making and you want to see more of it, or you want to see this next episode as soon as it comes out, feel free to hit the subscribe button. It's free, it takes very little time, and you can undo it at any time if you want to. That way you can just see the next video pop up right when it comes out, so you can watch it right away and stay up to date. Anyways, see you next time. Peace.